In the world of fashion, there are some rules that everyone just follows. You do seasonal collections, you have big ad budgets, and eventually, everything goes on sale. But what if a brand just decided to ignore all of that? Not just ignore it, but build a wildly successful company by doing the exact opposite. Well, let's get into the incredible story of Human-Made. So let's start with a number that honestly sounds fake. 100%. That's Human-Made's sell-through rate. At full price. It means every single thing they make sells out without ever getting a discount. For an industry that literally survives on sales racks, it's basically unheard of. And what happens when you never have a sale? Well, your profitability just goes through the roof. We're talking about an operating profit margin of 28%. To put that in perspective, most clothing companies would be ecstatic with a third of that. This isn't just a cool brand, it's a ridiculously efficient, high-profit machine. Which, of course, brings us to the big question, right? In an industry that is literally built on the idea of discounts and overproducing, how on earth is this even possible? It's not just one little trick, it's a complete teardown and rebuild of how a fashion brand is supposed to work. Okay, so the first piece of this puzzle is right at the very top. It's all about how the company is structured, a perfect fusion of pure creativity and sharp management. So you've got two key players here. On one side, the creative genius, Nigo, the legend who founded A Bathing Ape. His job is the vision, the design, the culture. That's it. And on the other side, you've got Matsunuma Ray, the business architect. He comes from the super efficient world of Uniqlo, and he has total control over the operations and strategy. And this gets to their core principle, the complete separation of creativity and management. I mean, think about it. How many cool brands just fall apart when the original founder leaves? Human-Made built a system to avoid that. They let the artist paint, and they let the business expert run the gallery. It's the bedrock of everything they do. All right, so you've got this solid foundation, but how does that actually translate into selling out 100% of your stock? It all comes down to this brilliant strategy that turns buying clothes into a weekly habit. So get this. Forget the whole spring/summer, fall/winter thing. Human-Made runs on a 52-week product plan. Every single Thursday, they announce what's new. Every Saturday, it goes on sale. And then, poof, it's gone, almost instantly. This relentless, predictable cycle trains customers to pay attention and be ready to buy. And this is where it gets genius. The CEO himself says he wants people to get hooked on the drops, just like waiting for the next issue of a weekly manga like Shonen Jump. It's not about selling you a t-shirt. It's about creating a ritual, something you look forward to every single week. That's how you build real demand. Now, this whole weekly drop thing, it doesn't just happen on its own. It's supported by this incredibly smart sales and marketing system, designed for maximum control and, get this, minimum cost. Let's look at how it works. A whopping 80% of their sales are direct to consumer. That means through their own stores and their own website. Why is this such a huge deal? Control. Total control. They set the prices and they get all the customer data, which makes their next weekly drop even smarter. Now you'd think with all this hype, they'd be pouring money into ads, right? Nope. Human-Made spends less than 1% of its revenue on advertising. Just look at that comparison. Average brands spend 5%, luxury brands spend 10%. It's almost unbelievably efficient. So where does the marketing come from? It's all about cultural cachet. It's not about ad copy, it's about who is wearing it. When people like Pharrell or Ye or the Japanese icon Takuya Kimura wear Human-Made, that's the ad. It's authentic, it's organic, and it's something money just can't buy. But here's where the story gets even bigger. This isn't just about being a really successful clothing brand. The true endgame is way more ambitious. They're trying to become a global intellectual property empire. Think bigger than clothes. And to make this happen, they made a really smart hire. Hayotama Reijin, a former executive from Sanrio, the company behind Hello Kitty. And his whole philosophy is that the playbook that turned a simple cat character into a global giant can absolutely be done again with Human-Made. So how do you build the next Hello Kitty? You need symbols that speak to everyone, a kind of common language. For Hello Kitty, it was a simple bow and a face with no mouth. For Human-Made, it's things like their iconic heart logo. These are simple, universal designs that can cross any cultural border and become the foundation of a massive IP brand. So what's the end game here? It's huge. The company is aiming to become a Japanese LVMH, a massive, multi-brand lifestyle group. They want to expand way beyond apparel into home goods, accessories, everything, maybe even by buying up other brands. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. What do we learn from this fashion revolution? Human Made isn't just selling cool t-shirts. They're teaching a masterclass in how to build a brand in the modern world. I mean, think about all the industry rules they've just thrown out the window. They've proved you don't need seasonal collections. You don't need to depend on department stores. You definitely don't need sales. You don't need a huge ad budget. And maybe most importantly, they've shown that separating creative genius from business excellence isn't just a good idea. It might be the key to building something that lasts. What Human Made has done here is build an entire system designed from the ground up to defy the logic of its own industry. It's just a powerful reminder that the way things are always done isn't a law of physics. It's just a habit. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. What other industry is just waiting for someone to come along and turn its core rules completely upside down?
喜欢这种学习方式，欢迎订阅我的频道，让我们一起用下一个10分钟，把商业英文变简单。